All right, and welcome to CCC News. Today we have Zora Richardson with us. She's a 22 TDHS graduate and a theater major at the University of Portland, right? I have that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm actually pursuing a dual degree in theater and arts administration, and I've got a music minor attached to that theater degree, so it is a lot. I am frequently seen around the Performing and Fine Arts office.
Which was so awesome when you came in, because we could immediately talk about all our anxiety before starting this podcast and like how you deal with that. And you had a great little comment there. You said, "I'm not going to die."
Well, I've been doing a lot of auditions lately, and part of that is to try and get work in the Portland area as an actor. But part of that is an exposure therapy for me, both as a performer and just as a person. And it's the exposure therapy of teaching my brain that I'm not going to die if I go in and have a bad audition. Right. Like, if somebody doesn't like me, if somebody doesn't like my work, it's okay. Like, it truly is okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you talk about exposure therapy, and let's unpack that a little bit. Like, that's just kind of time in front of people or in front of audiences. Is that what you're kind of talking about? Or
I guess, I mean, it's so scary to bring yourself and your vulnerable work, your artistic work in front of strangers who are evaluating you. And, you know, an audience might just be there to enjoy their evening, but a director, a casting director, they are there to evaluate you and decide whether or not you're a fit for their production. And that's so vulnerable. Yeah. That is so, so vulnerable, especially as an actor or a musician, when the product is you. Like, professional rejection feels so personal in this industry because you are the product. And that exposure therapy is good for reminding myself not to outsource my self-worth to a director or a casting director or to anybody. You know, I go into an audition room and I say, okay, this is me. This is who I am. This is my resume. This is the work I've prepared. And if they like it, that's awesome. And then we might work together. And if they don't like it, that's okay. And that doesn't change my value or the value of my work.
Fascinating. Yeah. And to that end, you said that you're on pace to do 50 auditions in the next month or so?
Oh, during the calendar year.
During the calendar year. Okay.
It was my New Year's resolution to do 50.
Okay.
And in the industry, the spring, like late winter, early spring is kind of the big audition season, and then callbacks are happening around now. So I'm at 22 and I've got auditions lined up through 27, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Oh my God.
But really it is just a numbers game for me of learning to experience rejection and get over it and meet people in the area. You run into the same people all the time in a smaller city like Portland. Yeah. And to just make friends, make connections, exposure therapy, and like learn how to do this so that when I graduate, if I end up, you know, having representation or moving to a bigger city, or when things start to get a little more high stakes, I will already have conquered the fear of what people are going to think of me in an audition room, and I'll be able to really bring my best self.
Yeah. And what a great opportunity to meet a lot of folks pretty quickly too, right? But let me like, sometimes do you have a back-to-back? Do you have maybe 2 auditions in a single day?
I have done that before, yes.
Okay.
It's a really strong lesson in resilience, because I had one, this was like one day, one the next morning, so not quite that back to back, but my audition the first day in the afternoon went badly. They asked for 2 songs, and I went and I sang my first song, and it went okay, and then they said, thank you, we don't need to see anymore. And I was so heartbroken that they didn't ask for my second piece. I was really excited to sing it. It's a theater who was doing work that I wanted to do. They weren't doing shows that I wanted to be in. It was a place that I've always wanted to be on stage at, and it was a hard rejection. Yeah,
that's tough, because you had kind of some emotional attachment to it to begin with going in. And
and there were people that I knew professionally from other contexts behind the table, so it felt personal as well. And I got in my car and cried a little bit. And then I said, okay, you know what? I've got to pull it together, because tomorrow at 9 a.m. I have to go do the Shakespeare audition.
Wow.
And I've got to pull it together and maybe not pull it together. I have to not let someone else's opinion of me affect the work I'm doing going forward.
Right.
And that's okay. And I put my comfiest pajamas on and I watched Ted Lasso. And then I got up the next day and did the next audition, and it went well. So
excellent.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. And any given day, right? You just kind of don't know what all the people in the room are going to be, and you just sometimes it fits and sometimes it doesn't.
It feels personal, but it so is not. Yeah. And this is true of any rejection in life. A lot of like actors and theater professors like to say things to the effect of, You might get rejected because your song was bad or your monologue was bad or whatever. Or it might be because you look like the director's ex-wife who they're in the middle of divorcing and they can't handle to look at you. Like, it really could be. It could be that there are so many things that affect how we perceive people that you can't assign so much weight to it.
I hear it's never good to have an interview like right before lunch. Like,
Yes.
you know.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because then everyone's hungry and they're like, will this person stop singing so I can go get lunch? I think it's good to schedule yourself as early in the day as possible so they're fresh, or like 2 p.m.
Yep. Yeah, I always shot for that. Like first, I always would if I was interviewing for a job or anything like that, if I could get the first shot out, or maybe sometimes the last if I couldn't get the first. I always kind of thought that was a good spot too. But
yeah, you're right. That's bad. I mean, and it's rough because it has nothing to do with you or what you're bringing to the table.
Right.
But it could just be the casting director is hungry and they have less patience to hear this song they've heard 4 times already today.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, huh. Interesting. So, Zora, you came up through the Dalles High School and you did Distinguished Young Woman.
Yeah.
You won that in 2021 and you went on to the Nationals in August. And I believe you did very well there.
Yeah, I didn't win anything at the national level. So I won the Wasco County title and then the state title and then nothing at Nationals, which was kind of a rude awakening, but also everyone at Nationals is the best in their state.
Yeah. Heavy competition.
So it is very heavy competition. And it's good to lose sometimes, I think. It's good to have like perspective and to experience both the highs and the lows. Right. But I accredit DYW with a lot of some of my professional successes and educational successes. I had an interview this week for an internship, and I leveraged all of those Distinguished Young Women interview techniques.
Interesting. Yes. Yeah, that's great, and that's kind of what I was leading up to. There is not only that, but your education here in the Dalles and all those things have kind of prepared you to go on to college, and you're going to go into your senior year in the fall, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So how was that transition? Talk to me a little bit about going from the Dalles, and did you go to Portland State University right off the bat?
University of Portland.
Excuse me, University of Portland. Yes,
it's a very common mistake. Don't feel bad at all. It's about every conversation I have when people ask where I go to school. It's all right. Yeah, I went right away. I didn't take a gap year. I know that's a valuable experience for a lot of people, but I think going right away was right for me.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a transition. Living in a bigger city is a transition, and learning to not be afraid of exploring and living fully in a bigger city. But for the most part, I felt really prepared. I felt academically prepared, absolutely. Okay. I took a lot of AP classes, and the AP teachers at the high school at the time were really, really good and really prepared me for the level of rigor that a Catholic school would have. I think socially it was more of an adjustment just because I was with different people. I was on my own for the first time. And some of those lessons you just have to learn. Like, there's no way to learn about yourself and about how you interact with people and how you exist in the world except to do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I took two years after high school, and I went and worked for 2 years. And that social adjustment was just as wild, very difficult to kind of figure out my way in the world, as far as, who my friends were going to be and how that was going to all work. But yeah, we kind of take from our high school experiences and apply those. And it just sounds like you had a pretty nice transition, and you're into you're following kind of a path of in the arts, as you say, with your art admin, a dual degree. So that's really cool. Any major as far as you were living in the dorms first year, right? And
yes, I lived in the dorms for a year, and then I moved into a house. So my first year, I worked in the costume shop for the theater at UP. There's a bunch of student jobs in the costume shop and the scene shop. And one of my coworkers and I became friends. And one day, as we're sitting there doing our work, she says, "Hey, I'm moving into a house off campus and we need a couple more people. Like, would you want to come and tour and maybe move off campus with us?" And I said, "You know what? Yeah." And I didn't know if that's what I wanted to do. I didn't have a plan. I was kind of debating. I was thinking I might stay in the dorms. And I went and toured, and I loved the house, and I loved the room that was available, and I loved the people who were moving in. And so I took a leap and I did it. And that friend and I are best friends today. We are so close. And she graduated ahead of me and has been such a wonderful beacon of hope, and has shown me that life doesn't end when you graduate college. And she
Right.
got a job right out of college that she enjoys, and like we're still really close.
Great.
So, and I think nowadays, I know nowadays that the university requires 2 years of on-campus living, which is pretty standard. I was surprised that it was only one.
Yeah.
And that's pretty standard. And I think that's good. I think it provides some more structure and support. But for me, it was the right thing to do. And I'm really, really happy with the people that I met and got close with.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So, is that roommate, that friend that you made, is she also in did she get a theater degree, or you guys kind of like-minded in that regard, or?
A little bit. She was an English major.
Oh,
She won the
okay.
award for top English major in the department. But she had a theater minor and studied dramaturgy, which is kind of an English adjacent discipline within theater. And so we met both in that costume shop job, and she was assistant directing a production of Brandon Jacob Jenkins' Everybody that I was in my first semester. And we were, this is a funny story. So in that cast, the director assigned us all a secret buddy. Who we could give notes to the director, who would then give them to our secret buddy, or at the end of the show we all like gave each other little gifts, and she was my secret buddy.
Okay.
Like she was giving me the notes and encouragement, and I didn't know the whole time, like this person, the secret person who was passing all this love and support. And I was a freshman in a big role. I didn't know what I was doing. And then at the end of the run, I found out that it was her. And like we had been living together, or we were going to be living together the next year. And it was just like this collision of like happy accidents. So she's not also an actor, but she works in marketing and communications. And at a high school where she gets to cover theater and do writing and do creative work. And I think it's really important as an actor to have people outside of the industry in your life. It can be so easy to get so tunnel focused on this industry, and it makes the rejection feel worse, and it makes the roller coaster of this career so much more intense. Whereas if you have people who are not in that world, it's so much easier to take perspective,
Right.
and to breathe a little bit, and to have a healthy work-life balance,
Yeah.
whatever that's supposed to be.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, very good. Well, hey, we've got a fun little piece coming up here. Robin Denning's here, and she's going to take us through a Shakespeare quiz, and she's going to test you and I. I guess we are, versus each other in this one, where we're going to see if we can recognize, the quote and from what work Shakespeare it comes from. And in that, though, you said you've been doing quite a bit of Shakespeare lately.
Yes, so I was cast in Sunstone Theater's Romeo and Juliet. I'm playing Juliet in August.
Okay.
An outdoor Shakespeare set on an equine therapy farm. So it's kind of Shakespeare Wild West. And this connection was like a friend from school is friends with this producer, and I was able to kind of find the audition that way, and they really liked what I had brought, and it was just all this like again a collision of kind of
Right.
connections. And
But Shakespeare Wild West.
yeah.
So it'll be set in a Western.
Yeah, I mean, it's on a farm. We're wearing cowboy boots.
Okay.
I haven't started rehearsals yet, so I'm not sure exactly what it entails.
Fascinating. So is the balcony scene on a barn maybe, or
It could be. I have no idea. I'm so excited to find out. And then I do Shakespeare in the Park with Original Practice Shakespeare Festival, and this will be my 5th summer with them coming up.
So I'm doomed in this quiz. I am totally doomed.
Maybe I don't know like Richard II very well, so you might have a leg up.
I don't think so. Awesome.
I
Wow.
believe in you, Tom. I think you'll be okay.
I'll do my best. Yeah, well, fantastic. We were talking a little bit too about a rock musical versus like opera and that kind of thing, and we were talking about Les Mis and some of the other big off Broadway musicals that have come through Portland and that kind of thing. But you say you kind of been trained as far as that goes, and can you kind of talk a little bit about the difference between those two? Because that kind of fascinated me that opera and a musical really aren't that different, maybe.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask. So I'm taking voice lessons at UP. My music minor is vocal performance focused. And my voice teacher is a retired opera singer.
Okay.
Or he's a teacher now. He also still performs. So he's very focused on classical technique and classical training. He assigns a lot of arias and art songs, and that's really the world he knows. And until recently, he's been kind of iffy on musical theater. It's in the opera world, it's definitely seen as a lesser art form. But I had a really moving moment in a lesson with him a few weeks ago where I had brought some musical theater and said, hey, I want to work on this. I have some auditions coming up. I would love your feedback. And we worked on them, and he said, you and a couple other of my students are really changing this cranky old opera singer's mind about musical theater. And that was really moving. This guy who's been kind of resistant to it a little bit, not really, but like has had to learn and change his mind for time. That was really beautiful. But yeah, this opera versus musical debate. Truly, I don't remember who said this, but famously, an opera occurs in an opera house to an opera audience and is performed by opera singers. And a musical happens in a theater to a musical theater audience performed by musical theater actors. And that's truly the only difference. I mean, obviously, like La Boheme and Hamilton are not in the same genre.
No.
Hadestown does not pretend to be an opera.
Right.
But things like Phantom of the Opera and Les Mis, and even things like falsettos that are kind of in that traditional musical theater vein, but are sung through and require a lot of technique to perform, they kind of walk the line a little bit in a way that threatens the hierarchy and the hierarchical view of this art form is better than that art form.
Right.
Which I think is interesting also because opera is much more expensive to produce and to study and to purchase a ticket for. So I think there are definitely also like economic reasons behind the distinction and the hierarchies that happen.
Interesting.
I think it's really fascinating.
That is fascinating. Yeah. Wow. What a great conversation. Thank you so much, Zora. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and go out to our sponsors, and we'll come back, and maybe we could jump in and we could start that Shakespeare quiz.
Oh, you're on.
Right.
Hey friend, if you're having a tough time right now, you're not alone. Whether you're dealing with stress, mental health challenges, emotional pain, or concerns about alcohol or drug use, there's someone here ready to listen. Just dial or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here for you 24/7, 365 days a year. It's free, it's confidential, and it's available to anyone. Yes, even if you're reaching out for someone else. The counsellors in 988 are trained, caring, and judgment-free. They're ready to talk, to listen, and to help you or someone you care about get through a difficult moment. You matter, your story matters, and help is just 3 numbers away. Call, text, or chat 988 anytime, anywhere.
All right, and we're back with Zora Richardson here at CCC News, and we're talking a little bit about her upcoming roles and that kind of thing. But I wanted to jump back for a second. You got to spend a whole term this last fall in London. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did. It was amazing. It was so wonderful. So I did a term in London, focused on kind of a liberal arts curriculum, so I got to dabble in art, and I took a contemporary art class where we made lots of visits to galleries. We became regulars at the Tate Modern.
Okay.
And I took a theater class that was more about audience studies and kind of philosophy of theater. I took several history and politics classes, and I had an internship. I interned at the Space Theater, which was so wonderful. I ended up assistant directing kind of a show, one of their community theater shows. They have they bring in locally touring professional productions, and there's also an in-house like Amdram community theater group that I ended up getting to help out with and getting to know the people who perform there and the community that's there, which was so awesome. And I also got to see so much theater, which was amazing. I saw this t-shirt. You can't see that it says London on the bottom, but this is from Hadestown in London, which I sobbed at more than once. I got to see lots of great Shakespeare. I went to the Globe frequently because you can get cheap standing tickets, which is amazing.
Right.
My theater class went to the National Theater a few times, we saw one of the Death of England trilogy, which was incredible. One of the best pieces of theater I've ever seen. Wow. But I think the crown jewel of the whole experience, my favorite moment in London was that I got to see David Tennant play Macbeth. Wow. And I rushed that performance. So box office opens at 10. And my partner and a good friend of mine were also living in London at the same time. And we got up and got to the theater at 7 and stood in line. There's a Cafe Nero across the street. So we get our coffee and our pastries. Okay, stand there, wait and wait and wait. The box office opens at 10 and we get in and we get our 25-pound ticket for the front row, which they reserve for Rush. It was, I'm a massive David Tennant fan. Just as an actor, I think he is so specific and so present and makes his choices are so clear. And he does Shakespeare as well as anybody working today.
Yeah.
And to be 20 feet from the stage, watching this person who is just one of the best actors of Shakespeare
And at the
do
top
one
of
of my
his game.
yes, at the like peak of his career, doing one of my favorite Shakespeare plays in this kind of intimate setting. He was right there. It was so amazing. It was so amazing.
Almost otherworldly, right? Like, yeah.
And he came out to the stage door, and of course, like, that's Doctor Who, right? Everyone's crowding the stage door, but he's so wonderful. He's saying hi to people and signing programs, and I'm not in the front, but I'm quite close, and I take my program and I reach it over, and I like look up, and he waves and signs this little scribble on my program. Wow. So I have my
Touch of greatness, right?
Little souvenir. Yeah. That was, I mean, not to just be a fangirl on Maine, but that was so incredible.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know what theater viewing experience is going to top that.
Yeah. Well, I bet you'll have some.
I'm sure. No, I cannot have peaked at 21. That that can't be happening.
Just getting going.
But,
yeah.
Like, going abroad was so wonderful because and I got to do so much traveling and meet new people and take these classes. All of those things were great. But I also got to live in the city that has the richest presence of the thing that I'm studying and my craft and thing that I'm dedicating my life to of anywhere on earth, except maybe New York, but only maybe.
Maybe,
I mean,
right? Yeah. Huh. It's interesting. You made a comment there and you said his choices are so clear.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Talk to me about what that actually means.
Well, part of being an actor, or scratch that.
Yeah.
The essence of being an actor is telling the truth.
Okay.
Acting is about being honest. It's not about lying at all. It's about being honest and about presenting humanity in a way that people recognize. And part of that is clarity. So when he is as Macbeth in this scene, thinking through whether or not to commit murder, you see every moment, every shift, every new thought that hits his brain, every change in position, every like change in tactic. You can see it. You watch him do it. It's like you can, if you pay attention, you're like, okay, okay. You like watch it unfold in his performance. It's not just, I'm going to get here and say this text with some expression.
Right.
It is so clear
He's
what's
going
happening.
through the mental gymnastics of what those decisions actually mean in the moment.
And some actors do that and you're like, okay, I can tell they're thinking, but like it's a little bit muddy, whereas he is like, this thought, and you can tell what it is, and this, and this, and this. Or when he's in a scene with another person, you can tell exactly what that character needs from the other character. And you're like, oh my God, I hope he gets it. Like, it's so beautiful to watch because when it's a strong acting performance, you don't notice that because you're lost in the story and you're just absorbing the truth that's coming off of the scene.
Yeah.
But since studying acting, it's like, it just opens up this world of, oh, wow, that is somebody who really, really knows what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's something you want to ascend to, It's like, that's so cool.
There's really the kind of acting I want to be doing. Yeah.
It's amazing when you see in your craft somebody who's just the absolute best or one of the best. And it just gives you such inspiration, like, to go there.
I mean, and it can be highbrow, like, David Tennant is Macbeth.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd for Shakespeare. Let's not be mistaken. And that was awesome. That was great. But you can also find those kinds of performances in unexpected places. A group of friends and I went to see the Revenge of the Sith re-release recently. Yeah. You know whose performance is really incredible? Ian McDiarmid. Amazing. Like, it's kind of a silly role, Emperor Palpatine. It's a silly, goofy role. But there are scenes where I'm like, whoa. I can see the layers and his choices. He's playing opposites. His circumstances are so clear. The relationships are so clear. being a nerd on Maine again. But like, it doesn't have to be, well, I saw Macbeth on the West End. It can be like, I went to the theater and saw this really great actor in kind of a silly movie that I love.
Right.
A silly movie that I love. I don't want the hate of the Star Wars fans, but like you can find these really, I think that's something that's so wonderful about having studied acting for a while and kind of really gotten to dig into it, is that I can see it now clearly in other places, and it's so delightful. It's so delightful.
Huh. How many years would you say that you've been focusing on theater and or since a kid, like you were a young kid, or?
Yeah. Do you want to know how I started?
Yeah.
I played a rat in Missoula Children's Theater's The Pied Piper.
Really?
6 years old.
Out of the Grange?
Out of the high school. They were in the high school at that point. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was here in the Dalles, at the place that I ended up, doing a ton of theater in high school and then graduating from.
That's where you got the bug.
Yes.
Interesting.
It was from when I put that rat costume on. I knew it was meant to be.
And that was not necessarily a lead role.
Oh, no. They like herded us on stage for 2 minutes and herded us back off stage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both my daughters did that too. Yeah.
So fun. Honestly, it's kind of a dream job for me to do the touring work where you have the actor director roles that switch off and those two actors travel together.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a great job right out of college. Yeah. Still young. And it sounds facetious, but I am serious. That's where it started.
No, I totally get it. Like, I know when I wanted to write, it was fourth grade.
Yeah.
We were writing short stories, and like I wrote a story, and the teacher read it, and I was like, oh God, this is where I want to be. Like, I love this. This is so fun.
It's like when people talk about, if you want to find out what you want to do with your life, think about the things you enjoyed as a kid.
Yeah.
Because you probably still love them.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part of you inside that really still loves that.
Yeah.
I went to the We Can Do Hard Things book tour in Portland last night, and they did an audience Q&A portion. And it's this self-help community podcast about, a lot of it's focused on like authenticity and living a good life and doing the hard things.
Right.
And they had an audience Q&A, and Glennon Doyle, famed memoirist, is one of the hosts. And the three of these hosts also wrote this book together that is memoir adjacent, so they know what they're talking about when it comes to memoir writing. And one of the audience members who had a question said, I think I want to write a memoir. I think about it all the time, but my mom died young. I'm scared I might die young. I'm scared of not finishing it. Like, there's a lot of fear around this. How do you overcome that? How do you do this? And Glennon said, everybody else doesn't walk around wanting to write a memoir. If you want that and you think about it all the time, then you need to do it.
Right.
That's how I feel about acting.
Yeah.
Not everyone else is walking around out here needing to be on stage all the time.
But
maybe that means I should do it.
You should, yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And like, and in life, it's easy. It's not easy, but you can do it. I mean, you can push those urges down, and not do. And like, you're stirring this in my head because 6 years ago or so, the Blue Zones group was here in the Dalles, and they were holding purpose meetings. Like, so you could go and I was trying to rediscover some of the things from my childhood like that. And one of them was, like newspapers. Like, I always liked to write, but I kind of gave it up. I didn't give it up, but I didn't do it as much. And I was like, I want to get back into that. And then the other one was playing guitar. Like, I never played guitar, but I always kind of wanted to. And music, I've always loved music and that kind of thing. And it just it all resurfaced for me. And I was able to grab onto it. And, and I do have a short story I want to get written. So you're emboldening me right now. I'm saying it live, actually. So I better do it.
Yeah, I really hope you do. I think like human beings are creative beings. Like, that is such a part of who we are.
Yeah.
Cave paintings are the classic example. Like, as long as we have been Homo sapiens, we have been creative.
Yeah.
And usually when you talk to people about like wanting to rediscover what their inner child loves, it's almost always something creative. It's almost always writing or music or dance or acting or storytelling or building, or sometimes it's like sports and community and playing in that way. I think they're all kind of connected.
Right. Wow. Well, wonderful. What a great piece of advice, I think, for anybody, no matter what age, is to kind of listen to those inner voices that are telling you to go out and do, these interesting, fun things that you really, love. And that's so cool. Well, great. Well, why don't we take one more break and we'll come back, and I guess we're going to have to jump into this, this Shakespeare quiz.
All right.
All right. We'll be back in 1 minute. Hey, Josh, did you know that we are funded by our readers in large part?
I did know that, but please tell me more.
Yeah, it's our local readers here that make it possible for us to go out and gather news on local businesses and important issues in our community. And so we need people to support local news. Did you know you can make a difference in our community's economy and culture by supporting local journalism? I bet you did. But maybe you out there don't. And so you should visit our Support Us page at CCCNews.com to subscribe to a monthly donation to keep news local and start making a difference in our community today. Again, that's CCCNews.com.
And remember, CCC News is available for everyone and funded by readers.
All right, we're back. We're joined now with Robin Denning, and we're here with Zora Richardson. Yeah, we're talking theater and England. You're from Manchester, right, Robin?
Yes, I'm a Mancunian. Yes, that would be me. Yeah.
And Zora just finished a term last fall in London, so yeah, you guys, I'll have that. And I live in Oregon. So, yeah,
I mean, that's where we live too, and so it's pretty cool. For sure.
Excellent. So Robin, you apparently have a quiz. You've come up with some incredible idea here to put me on the spot. So
yeah,
what you got?
Trying to like not see your screen. I might.
Oh, you're fine. I'll make it super small so you can't see it.
That's not fair. Can I get a mirror?
Oh no, we're good. We're fine.
No. We'll keep the screen to myself right here. So the pretense of the game is that you both know quite a lot of Shakespeare, you know, and I have a funny accent, and so I was going to choose a random line from a Shakespeare piece, and I was going to recite the line, and the first person to go beep and then tell us the line gets the point. You get 1 point for which play it's in, and then you get another point for knowing which scene it's in, and then you get another point. Which act it's in, and then one more point for which scene in which act. And I'm not going to tell you which play we're doing because I'm going to make it extra hard and where we are, obviously.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, ready. Yeah. Meep. That's where meeping in?
Yeah.
How's your meep, Zora?
Meep.
That's very good. Meep. All right.
We got little things. I almost went down to the early learning department down in our basement. We've got some little macarinas down there. We could use for something. So, okay. So are we ready?
We're ready.
We're
Yes.
ready. Okay. Now I have to find something.
Don't stare me down. Yeah.
I'm taking some deep breaths, locking in.
Ready to go, but never to return. O son, the night before thy wedding day hath death lain with thy wife. There she lays. Flower as she was, deflowered by him. Death is my son-in-law, death is my heir. My daughter he hath wedded. I will die and leave him all life, living all his deaths.
Beep.
Yeah.
Is this from Richard III?
No.
Okay.
Meep. Yes.
Macbeth?
No.
Oh!
This is hard. I don't know this one.
It's Capulet. It was recited Act 4, Scene 5 of Romeo and Juliet.
Whoa. That's shameful because I'm doing that. It's not what we're doing.
It's fine. We're in Juliet's chamber, and Capulet is professing his love. So next. Now is the winter of our discontent.
Beep.
Oh.
Yes.
This is Richard III.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which act was seen?
This I don't know. Oh, is it Act 1?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the
Really
opening.
creative about where I got this one from.
Right?
Yeah.
Made glorious
sweating.
summer the son of York.
Now the winter is our discontent, make glorious summer by this sum of York, and all the clouds that loud upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried.
Yeah. I do love Richard III. He's like this just great character with the hump and the whole thing. And
It's a wonderful play. Like, I want to play Lady Anne so badly.
So 1 point for Zora.
yeah. Do I get a half point for Act One?
Tell me what that
Yeah, we did all see you do it, so we have a
Point
Oh, you're
five.
keeping Italian. Okay.
We're not winning or losing anything. You're okay. You're okay. Okay. Next. Then I must be thy lady, but I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of Corin sat all day.
Beep.
Yes.
This is A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes, it is.
It's Act 3, Scene 1.
No, it's
Is it-
Act 2, Scene 1.
Okay.
Very close, very close. That was very impressive. Well done.
Thank you. I think I used this recently to teach some children about Shakespeare.
That's not fair. Have you guys been colluding?
The kids like the fairies. They like the magical elements.
True.
Amazing. Okay, how are we doing? What's the scores on the door?
Zora 2, Tom 0.5 on the gimme.
You get that point. I think that's
Point
totally
five.
fair. Yeah.
Half point.
Expected. Okay. There's a matter in these sighs, these profound heaves. You must translate. 'Tis fit we understand them. Where is your son? Next person. Bestow this place on us a little while. And, oh my God, where have I seen tonight? It's a tragedy.
Hamlet.
Yes!
Oh, I mean,
You didn't beep.
Honestly,
you can take my.
No. I think that counts. I think
I don't know the.
Oh, okay, I can tell you what's happening in the plot, but I
Yeah?
don't. It's when they're all hiding to overhear Hamlet and Ophelia.
Yeah.
It's okay. So
How does the sea is the wind when both contend?
I'm gonna take a stab at it. 2-4. Act 2, Scene 4.
Act 4, scene
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know this play. Wow.
We're learning. There's nothing wrong with learning.
All the Hamlet lines that could have happened. That was pretty good.
That's pretty good. So, I mean, 1.5 to 2 is,
Yes.
it seems
Wow,
like we need a
okay.
tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
Time for a tiebreaker. Yeah. Winner takes all. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm looking for a gun. 'Tis well thou art not fish. If thou hadst been poor John. Draw thy tool. Here comes 2 of the house of Montagues. My
This is Romeo and Juliet, Act 1, Scene 1.
Oh, crush.
And the characters are Gregory and Samson.
yes, that's dead right. 3 points for Zora.
Wow. Well, I can't say I didn't expect it.
I should be shamed for not knowing the other one. So I had to recover that.
It was very good. Well done, both of you.
Great job. Oh my God.
I'm not sure my intonation was right because I wasn't there in the scene, you know. I couldn't have heard the sound, the line before mine. So
That was awesome. Very well done.
Yeah, thank you, and you too. Excellent work. Well, great. What a great way to end up with a quiz and that kind of thing. Any kind of last words or advice for kids who are interested in theater or just following their passion in life, Zora?
Yeah. you know what excites you. You know what it is in there, and there will be lots of people who either are dissuading you from that in a malicious way, or who mean well but worry for the future of a creative career, or think they know better because they did something else that worked better for them. And I would say so many people who end up in a creative field and are really happy with their work are doing the thing that they knew that they loved as a kid. So if you are a young person and you have that thing that you know that you love, you're right. Like, trust that in yourself, and know that that's worth chasing. And if you shove it down and you abandon it and you give up on yourself because of what other people say, you will eventually come back to it later in life thinking, darn it, why didn't I follow what I knew myself to be and what I knew myself to love and to want in life?
Wow. That's sage advice. Wow. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming today, Zora. And thank you, Robin, for an excellent quiz.
Thank you, Robin. That was wonderful.
Thanks for engaging my silly quiz.
Right. Cool. All right. And so until next time, CCC News signing off.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey.
Tell me about advertising at CCC News.
All right. We've been on a real roll lately. We're up to 110,000 unique readers this month.
That's insane.
It's insane. And these are all people that are customers for our local readers in the community.
That's huge.
Yeah. So we do advertisements, digital advertisements that are rotated through all of our stories. Think of it like this. Every time we have a great headline rolling out there and people are reading the story, your advertisement can be right next to it.
That's awesome. How many views does advertisers get every month?
Well, they're averaging somewhere between 50 and 60,000 per month.
Ooh, if I was to buy 60,000 impressions somewhere else, that might be like really expensive. Is that right?
It would be, but thank goodness for CCC News, and we're offering people great value. We can get advertising going for folks for $300 month to month. But if you're willing to go a little bit longer, say a 6-month or a 12-month contract, we can get those prices down to $250 a month.
That's amazing. Great. How can people get in touch?
Oh, well, easy. You just contact me, Tom, at cccnews.com. Again, that's Tom at cccnews.com. Or you can reach me at 541-980-2756.
I'm going to tell all my friends.
Right on. Hit.